You have to be really intentional about putting a team together.
Crawled out of the pile and started screaming.
How good is Joey Bosa?
Herbert, rolling, looking, throwing, end zone, touchdown. It's intercepted. Derwin James. Derwin was there.
You got to be on a mission every day in the NFL. But even more than that, you got to be on a mission together.
Great hands, Keenan Allen.
The Los Angeles Chargers select Rashawn Slater.
Asante Samuel Jr.
Stop! Oh, I'm stopping y'all boys. I can't catch it.
Intercepted. Picked up by Michael Davis.
Explosion. Explosiveness from Eckler.
There's Murphy. Boy, he blew that up, didn't he? It is picked off. Nasir Adderley. 50-50 ball is 100%. Mike Williams.
Ojena Nwosu. And that will end it.
Time to bolt up.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Dan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. Today's show, of course, is being brought to you by UFC Fit in Temecula, Brewery X in Anaheim, and Charger Bolt family. Dan, I am happy to report that yesterday I did not have to check myself into a cardiologist. I still have not invested in the pacemaker, though still got a long season ahead of us. So I'm sure it'll come eventually, but it was just a nice bye week, nice little vacation. But you know what? It's now Monday. Patriots on the docket. Vacation's over. It's time to get back to business. And what better way than to welcome a great friend of the show, Dan Wolkenstein. Please let us know who it is.
Friend of the show, the one and only Fernando Ramirez is going to be joining us today to talk all things Los Angeles Chargers. And man, it's been a minute since we've had Fernando, fresh off the bye. Can't wait to talk to him all about how this team is doing through the bye week, what he's done lately in terms of getting himself re-energized for this home stretch of however many games. Fernando Ramirez is joining Chargers Unleashed podcast. Fernando, take your finger off of the camera and say hello to the good people. Can you hear me now?
How you guys doing?
Please explain.
I don't know. I thought, like you said, take him out of the show. So I'm like, okay, before we jumped on. So I decided to kind of like just do that thing. I don't know.
Oh, do it manually. Okay.
You know what I was thinking about Spy Kids? Like, you remember? I don't know if you guys ever watched that movie, Spy Kids, when George Clooney supposedly the guy, and he's like this, and he's like, I don't even know why I'm using this. He's only in the movie for like 3 seconds, but you go back and see it. It's at the end of the movie. It's pretty funny scene. So
you just wanted to be,
or like Live Free Die Hard, where he covers up, where Bruce Willis covers up the camera, and he still keeps talking, and then the bad guy says to him, he's like, and by the way, Officer McClane, covering your hand with the camera does not stop the microphone.
We can still hear you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You just wanted to be likened to George Clooney.
Huh? Yeah,
you
exactly.
just wanted to be likened to George Clooney.
Rico Suave. I mean, hey, if I could look that good when I'm his age, bring it on. Stacy Keibler, bring it on. I'm all for it.
You're not wrong. So,
all right, Fernando. Well, I know we all had a nice little vacation, nice little hiatus, get away from football, especially after the way that we went into the bye week after the Chargers had gotten trounced by the Baltimore Ravens. But now it's time to focus up once again. Longtime nemesis to Chargers fans. We know how this goes. When the New England Patriots come to town, doesn't matter who the quarterback is, it's still business all the way. So what is it that we're looking for? We've all been asking for the improvements overall. What's going to happen? How is the run defense going to improve? How's the kicking game? Is it going to get fixed? Who knows? But overall, just your takeaways. First six weeks of the season, the Chargers sitting at 4-2, currently right now, second in the AFC West, just behind the Raiders. But overall, this has probably been the toughest stretch of their schedule, and we haven't gotten a chance to talk to you about it yet. So first impressions, first 6 weeks of the season. Let's hear it.
You know, it's funny. I like going into the bye week. I'm like, do not make a trade. Like, don't. Like, usually their bye week is around the trade, or usually their bye week is completely past the trade deadline. For some reason, this year they put it kind of at the beginning of the season. So I'm like, don't do a trade. Don't go get somebody. Like, don't tell me Fletcher Cox or Akeem Hicks or Like just to throw it out there. I mean, don't go get Allen Robinson. Like, leave me alone. Like, let me just rest. But that's just it's funny. That's some of the names that I've seen like flirted out there. Like, I threw out, Chargers offense this. People were like, go get Allen Robinson, and I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I don't have control of the team. Then I post a defensive. Yeah, I post a defensive story. Go get Akeem Nicks, Fletcher Cox. I'm like, I can't do this, sir or madam. Like, I don't have that power. I'm like, and this isn't Madden. So obviously, I was surprised. I mean, I remember saying to myself, or saying to other people, if the Chargers go into the bye week 3-3, they did something right. They're lucky, especially because you had Kansas City. You had it's funny because I think they lost the games that you kind of thought they were going to win, and they won the games that you kind of thought, they're going to lose. Nobody had them beating Kansas City. Nobody had them. I don't think a lot of people had them. No, yeah, they probably did have them beating the Raiders and Browns, but I just didn't think they were going to beat Kansas City. That one to me was a surprise game, especially the way they were able to kind of dissect Kansas City. Kansas City, obviously 3-4. You're kind of looking around. You're like, is this? I mean, I know some people are like, oh, it's lazy to think that they've been figured out, but there's something going on. If one opponent beats you, okay, 2 and 3, like, and they're beating you the same way. There's something wrong there. So there's a lot wrong in Kansas City, but obviously I'm not here to talk Kansas City. That's just something that I'm depicting. But in the Baltimore game, I don't know how to take it, just because parts of me are a little bit like, I guess I have questions about, was it you were looking at the bye week and you came in kind of lazy, and you probably thought, oh, you know what, we just beat the crap out of the Raiders and we just beat the Cleveland Browns. We're going to go into this game, we'll probably steamroll them, we'll be able to win. Like, we're just going to do what we've typically done. Because Lamar Jackson didn't play overly well. Like, they were able to kind of slow him down a little bit. It was just the run game. Like, literally, it felt like it felt like John Harbaugh got in the DeLorean, went back to 2015 and got all these running backs and gave these running backs their talent back. So there you go, Space Jam and Back to the Future put together. Gave them their talent back from 2015, and these running backs were running crazy. I mean, Devontae Freeman, you had Latavius Murray, and you had Le'Veon Bell, and you're kind of like, dude, where has this been? All the teams that had you previously are probably like, where was this? So it is a little worrisome, but I think part of it was laziness. I just didn't see a spark from the offense. And my biggest question to Brandon Staley that I'm probably I want to ask and everything is, the Raiders and the Baltimore Ravens did one thing similar, and that is they took away Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. So my question is, when that happens, what's going to happen with the offense? Like, are you counting on Jared Cook? Are you counting on all these guys to kind of step up? Because they did against the Raiders, but against Baltimore, nobody stepped up. So I guess that's my question for the offense is, dude, what is going to happen? And obviously for the defense, are you going to be able to stop the run? And I mean, they got Justin Jones back today. He practiced today. Drew Tranquil's back. He practiced. When it came about and obviously Nazir, they missed Nas against Baltimore, honestly. And I know he's kind of had a roller coaster season, but that's kind of been Nas's career so far with the Chargers, up and down, some good, some bad. But I know I'm kind of rambling, but Kenneth Murray, they said he's a little bit farther behind these guys. And then obviously the question had to be asked, what's up with Brian Bulaga? He said that he should be back this season, but there is no timetable so far. So that one's just the big question mark heading forward. But Drew Tranquil should be a huge boost for them. Again, Justin Jones should be a boost. But I think phone calls should be being made in the front office. I think you need to bolster either your offense or your defense, or hell, why not both? But I do think that they're missing a little of that extra juice, which I'm not taking anything away from them. 4-2, wow. The way you've been playing, great, but there's just a little bit missing on both sides. With special teams, they added a boost with Andre Roberts, but now it's kind of like, okay, what about the kicking situation today? Brandon Staley said that they're sticking with Vizcaino, but they're also keeping their options open. So that's the big question mark moving forward with that unit.
I would So Jake and I were kind of talking about this. You mentioned the special teams for a sec, and we were kind of going through, Andre Roberts. I think that was a good pickup for them. But like, what should or could the Chargers do to fix the special teams kicking situation? Because like Jake mentioned on the previous episode, all of these kickers that are available now, like there's a reason they're available. And we've seen kickers get released by the Chargers, traded from the Chargers, and all of a sudden become Pro Bowl kickers. Like, what realistically can the Chargers actually do right now that's not going to be just crippling?
The thing is that sometimes the kicker just needs a new home. Like Dustin Hopkins is a kicker who's a free agent. He's actually probably a lot better than most of the free agents out there. But the thing is, sometimes they need a new home and they need something new. I don't know if you guys remember. I think the kicker right now for the Patriots is Folk, right? Nick Folk. I remember he was out of the NFL for 2 years, and then he came back in, and now he's kicking well for the Patriots. And I believe it is Nick Folk. So sometimes it takes guys a while to kind of – it is?
Yes.
Boom. There you go. So sometimes it takes these guys like one release to kind of get them kind of squared away. Remember, Younghoe Koo, it took him – I think he was on the Patriots practice squad. I think he was on Tampa's practice squad. And I think he finally landed with Atlanta. With Atlanta, he kind of turned it on. The only other way you could do it is if you make a trade, maybe go to Atlanta and say, hey, you guys are out of it. They're not out of it because Miami kind of gave them a way back in. But say, hey, we want to right our wrong. Can we get Younghoe Koo in? But, I mean, obviously I think I saw somebody from ESPN say that the Chargers should – I think Fowler was the one that wrote that.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if the Chargers traded anything for a kicker. But this is a guy that Darius Swinton has a lot of faith in, and it seems like he has a lot of faith in him. And to be honest and to be fair, he's missing extra points. Not like he's missing field goals, I guess, if you want to throw in a positive to a negative. Then also he's pinning the other team back into the end zone. So, I mean, that's the other plus. His only negative is he can't get extra points, and it almost cost you against Cleveland, which I completely agree with. It's like, whoa. And even Staley seemed concerned after the game that it almost cost them. But at the same time, I mean, I know that they like what he brings, and I feel like they think that he could be really good. So, but I don't see this team like getting Hopkins and keeping Vizcaino, and Vizcaino kicks off and Hopkins kicks field goals. So I don't see that two kicker system happening. But it's funny because some fans are like, they get delusional sometimes, and they're like, well, why can't Ty Long kick? And I'm like, dude, Ty Long like hurt his groin the last time he tried to do that. A couple of years ago, so I don't see him doing that anytime soon.
And last question before we kind of move on to coming.
The last question, we're almost done. Thank God. All right, I can go now.
Yeesh, coming in hot. So Chargers 4-2. They won some you thought they'd lose. They lost some you thought they'd win. Quick grades: offense, defense, special teams, A to F. So far through 6 weeks, technically 7 with a bye. What do you give in the offense, A to F?
Sorry, I dressed up as you.
Inside joke for those who were not around before.
Everybody. And Wolkenstein had some Wi-Fi issues.
Let's just say I was frozen like Elsa. Go ahead, Fernando.
All right, grades for the offense. What the hell? I gave them. I think I gave them a B. That right side is a little concerning as well. I think if the Eagles lose this weekend, I may contact the Eagles and ask about Lane Johnson. I mean, why not? He's a proven Pro Bowl guy. He's a good player. He's done a lot of – he's their best. I mean, I know he's had some issues with being able to stay healthy. But, I mean, he might be a player that they should take – but honestly, you're not going to be able to fix anything right now. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where you're kind of looking to see if there's anything that they can fish. But definitely, I'd give them a B. I just think that right side, there was a play. I think it was Max Crosby. No, it was Myles Garrett. He was facing Storm Norton, and he just literally plants Norton like if he was the what was it called, the Norton antivirus?
Yes.
Yeah, he just plants him, and I'm like, dude, what is going on? And so that right side is a little concerning if you're the Chargers. But other than that, I felt like the offense has done fine. They're missing a third receiver. Jalen Guyton hasn't been that guy this year. There should be some concern from the Chargers about him and Palmer. And Palmer's only a rookie, but there should be a little bit concerned that when teams take away Keenan or Mike, there's no that next receiver isn't stepping up. So that should be a little bit of a concern for the Chargers. And I guess it's probably because I remember the when it was Tyrell, Mike, and Keenan, and they were playing so well together. And if one guy was not feeling it that day, the other two guys would pick it up. They're kind of missing that kind of guy. That's why I threw out the Allen Robinson thing, because expiring contract, he's on that 1 year. But I mean, what would it cost you? A third rounder? If you lose him, you get that third round pick for the compensation, a compensatory pick. So why not? But I'm just throwing crap out there. I don't know. And how much fun wouldn't it be to see Keenan, him, and Mike in this offense? Like with Justin throwing them the football, like they would be a lot of fun to watch them. But this isn't inside information. It's not nothing. I'm just throwing stuff out there just for fun. But honestly, the defense, I gave it, I think, a C. But I thought that the run defense was atrocious. The only time that they were able to stop anything was against the Raiders, and that was just because they had jumped out to a quick lead. Having Derwin back has been great for this defense. I feel like the defense is really done. That's why I was surprised that they lost to Baltimore by so much, because I've never seen Derwin in a situation like that. Derwin had not been blown out. He had never been anything like that since he had come in the league. So I was just very surprised to see that happen to the Chargers. But he can't be everywhere at once. I mean, obviously, if this team could, they would clone Joey and Derwin and put 11 Joeys and Derwins out there on the field and let them go at it. But it is concerning, the opposite pass rusher where Joey is on the opposite side. It is a little concerning that nobody has stepped up and taken that second position. Joey's getting triple teamed at times, and you're kind of like, whoa, like what is anybody going to pick it up? But nobody's picked it up so far. So that should be a little bit concerning. And like I said, no Justin Jones, so the pass rush has kind of been a little shaky. But yeah, that's why I kind of would give him a C, because there's a lot of missing pieces that the defense needs. And I'm going to be honest, I think Jerry Tillery has really struggled. I thought he was playing well. He played well against Kansas City, and he played well against the Raiders. And I think ever since then, he reverted kind of back to his old ways. So that should be a little bit concerning for the Chargers as well. I'm gonna stop my camera, but it's just so I can charge my my laptop. So don't get nervous. I'm still listening and I'm still talking. So next, you guys can ask me whatever you guys want next.
Still waiting on that special teams grade, Fernando.
On that special teams what?
That special teams grade.
Oh,
you gave us the offense and defense. I still just needed the special teams grade. Special teams what?
I was like, I thought I talked about. Okay, yeah, my bad. Special teams.
First off, Dan Wolkenstein is loving this right now because of all the shit that we gave him about 5 minutes ago with his technical difficulties.
Oh, man.
And then
this isn't a technical
yours,
difficulty. This crap runs out of battery so quickly. I can't believe it. Like, it has no juice.
Sounds like a technical difficulty.
No, it's not. It's
it's not.
Apple. Okay. You want me to buy the new thing, and guess what? I might buy it. So you're getting my money. You're doing exactly what you wanted.
Fernando, is their special teams getting a grade any better than an F?
I mean, there's no. I mean, you know what? Hold on. Yeah, they'll get a D because of Tai Long. I think Tai Long has actually done a good job this year punting. He's been a lot better. He's been a lot better than he was in previous years. God, everybody's trying to call me. Leave me alone.
You're getting the Hefner moment on live podcast right now. It's awesome.
I'm not getting any breaking news though. Dude, that Devontae Adams stuff is crazy. My bad. Yeah. So basically, I think Tai Long's done a really good job this year. I thought Tai Long is really I'm like not focused. I think Tai Long has done a great job. This guy, I know his kickoffs have been good. It's just been the 5 missed extra points, which I mean is obviously a big if. He's missed a field goal. I know that.
He's missed
one out of like 4, right? He hasn't really kicked that many field goals.
No, nobody wants him to kick him. We don't want to kick him. That's where the 4th and Staley.
Either they're going for 4 downs or they're scoring touchdowns. So I guess in the return, I mean, in the block, they haven't allowed big returns. The only time that they allowed big returns, though, was against Baltimore.
The Ravens.
Other than that, they hadn't really allowed big returns. So I'd give them a D plus probably, but I think they're going to get better. I think they're going to improve. I think Darius Swin is still kind of getting his footing in with this special teams. They're getting guys back. Drew Tranquil's been a big part of their special teams. They're gonna get some guys back, so it's gonna be interesting. What I'm interested in is to see who's gonna be the starter at linebacker next to Kaiser White. Is it gonna be Drew Tranquil or is it gonna be Kenneth Murray when Kenneth is healthy? So that's where I'm that's the position that I'm really looking at to see who's gonna be the guy when they both return.
So now let's turn our attention to the New England game. And if we look back to just over a year ago, or just at a year ago, the New England Patriots, the last time that they played the Chargers, absolutely obliterated them 45-0. Cam Newton only had to complete 12 passes in this game. Obviously, the run game was a big aspect. Damian Harris went off for 80. Cam Newton went off for 48. Sony Michel added another 25.
No, you're forgetting the biggest part.
Gunnar Olszewski? The special teams returns and the one receiving touchdown that he got in that game.
And I think they had a blocked field goal too that Devin McCourty returned for a touchdown.
Yes. So just an absolutely embarrassing moment that the Chargers had to endure last year. And then, of course, everybody, as you like to say, Dan, with certain fans being so impulsive and prisoners in the moment. But for the run defense, rightfully so. When you see the games of Dallas, like Cleveland, like Baltimore, and what they've given up in the run game, and you know that this is what Bill Belichick is going to implement with a rookie quarterback. He's going to want to take the clock away, take Justin Herbert out of this game as much as he can. So looking forward to New England, it's hard to say because this is the first time us witnessing Brandon Staley off of a bye yet, so we haven't seen the little adjustments actually take place that he's talking about. But looking forward to this matchup against New England, what is the biggest things that you're looking for?
I'm looking to see what Brandon Staley looks like after a blowout loss. I kind of wish that this game would have been last week. I know that I keep on talking about how I like the bye week, but I was really interested to see if there wouldn't have been a bye week, how the guys would have responded a week after getting blown out. That really, to me, would have been something interesting and something to kind of keep an eye on. But it's still going to be something that I keep an eye on. I remember during the offseason, a lot of people were comparing Bill Belichick and Brandon Staley a little bit and relax before everybody like blows a gasket. They were comparing him because they're like, oh, well, he's a defensive mind and he has a stud young quarterback, kind of the way Bill Belichick and Tom Brady were a duo, and now it's Brandon and Justin. But I'm going to be interested to see kind of how Justin plays in this game. He had a terrible game against New England last year, and it was because they were doing that whole zero blitz. Let me show you. We're not going to show our hand. We're gonna pretend like we're going to blitz, and then we're going to go into our defense and kind of throw you off. That's what I'm really interested in, to kind of see how Justin adjusts to that, because Justin you can compliment him all you want when it's good, but also you have to be fair when when he was bad, and he was bad against the Baltimore Ravens. So how is he going to respond after this Baltimore Ravens? Are the receivers going to step up? Are they going to play up to their speed? Is the defense going to be able to stop the run? There's a lot of question marks, and a lot of the question, and can they get turnovers? Is the defense going to be able to turn the ball over and get Mac Jones to commit a mistake? And you, I mean, if you're the Chargers in this game, you want Mac Jones to try and beat you. That's your key. You want Mac Jones to be the one that beats you. You don't want to let happen what happened last Sunday when 3 running backs basically beat the brakes off of you. And it's funny. I have the stat. In the last 2 games, the Chargers have allowed over 400 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. So that's a lot of points. That's 42 points. There you go. God, math. Oh, and I cursed. I apologize. That's an order to the swear jar.
Drop in the bucket.
Now it's a swear basket, I guess, because that's how
it's a family show, you son of a bitch.
Hey, speaking of which, I'm so hyped. Christmas is coming up. You know what movie I get to watch.
Oh, I know what it is.
Oh, I hope you do.
There's a hint right behind you. The
that one, yes.
The Turbo Man?
Yeah. No, I was actually thinking about
You didn't.
about Home Alone.
Absolutely.
When he's like, I want you to get your 4 flushing carcass out my door. 1, 2. You just said it. You said "son of a bitch" the way he says it. So I kind of, I kind of thought about Home Alone right there. But definitely, I just think that there's a lot of question marks about this team heading into this game, and now the spotlight is on you. A lot of people are praising you as a top team. It's funny how the NFL moves. 2 weeks ago, the Chargers and the Bills are the best teams. Then it's the Titans and the Ravens. And now it's the Bengals and the Titans that are the best teams in the NFL. So quickly, everything moves quickly. But I think the Chargers have a little bit. They have to show what they're made of. I think they have to come out here and they have to really take it to New England and kind of and really punch them in the mouth, because what happened 2 weeks ago. I mean, you have to show that was an accident. It was just one of those things where you guys got complacent. And boom, we're out here and we're winning games again.
Do you like? So maybe the question for me then is, you've been around the team, obviously, bye week, now back to work. What's been the tenor like from either the coaching staff or the players since that loss? Do you feel re-energized? Do you feel that they're motivated? Do you feel they're pissed? What's the vibe like from the team?
I thought Mike today, we had Mike Williams today. I thought Mike was fine. He's just Mike for shows. It's lit, because we asked him about Hunter Henry and getting to play him again. He's like, it'll be lit. I just started laughing. So that was pretty cool. But I really think that Mike was fine. It seems like they're just like, oh, it's a new week. Like time, like that. I feel like Brandon's kind of put it in their head that, hey, the bye week was a couple of weeks, or that game was a couple of weeks ago. Forget about it. New slate. Let's go out there. Let's show what we do. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it kind of feels. And I forgot to ask him if he's watched Ted Lasso, because Gilbert recommended it to him. Gilbert told him, "Have you watched Ted Lasso?" Because a lot of people were comparing him to Ted Lasso, and then I kind of was the one that was like, "Oh yeah, I recommend it." He's like, "Oh, I have the Fernando stamp of approval and Chase Daniel." I was like, "Yeah, there you go. So go watch it." But I definitely think that that they seem relaxed. I mean, I'm not going to get more. We'll get more of an indication on Wednesday when we talk to more players. But it seems like the guys are refreshed. They're kind of ready to go. Guys were dancing around today during not dancing around, but they just seem like they were ready to go, kind of for practice and everything. So they look like they're re-energized. They're forgetting what happened, and that's kind of what you want, especially after the bye week. You want these guys rested. You want these guys going at it and kind of going. I don't know how do you want, like, you want them to forget about what happened, but at the same time keep it in the back of your mind and be like, hey, we don't want that to happen again. Kind of like the 45-0 game last year. You don't want to get smacked in the mouth like that last year, because after that game, that's when we were asking Anthony Lynn, like, hey, is your job on the line? Do you feel like your job's on the line? And I know the Spanos family came out and said, they told us that with Anthony, obviously it was Tom Telesco who told us that after the season, that's when they realized that they were going to fire Anthony Lynn. I think it was that New England game that really kind of like, dude, you just got the worst loss in history. I mean, in your franchise history. So I thought that had a lot to do with it. But I just think that they need to come in with fresh juice, be ready to go, and kind of they're getting guys back. So I think that's going to revitalize them too, getting guys back, getting some of these pieces like Justin Jones back, who they haven't had since he went out at halftime of the Washington game. So he's missed 6 games. Wow, or 5 games. So it'll help having him back, and maybe that'll mean a more healthier rotation of the defensive line. So maybe that'll keep guys fresh and guys bouncing around. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to kind of see how they take this approach this week and on Sunday.
I was listening to some of Brandon Staley's comments today, and when everybody was asking him about, how you make the corrections in the run game, and the people who are going to be expecting it to go from where it is now to just on the full other end of the spectrum, obviously is just unrealistic. It's not going to get fixed like that. But I actually really liked his comments today. It was subtle, but also specific as far as what it sounds like he's corrected. And in general, whether we're talking about Anthony Lynn, Mike McCoy, Norv Turner, any type of corrections, whether it's the bye week or not, or just assessing any type of an issue. I can't actually remember a coach being that specific as far as corrections goes. Obviously, he took some accountability for his coaching and not being able to put them in a position to win and be better at the time. But just a general assessment, I felt like that was a great response from him. Obviously, we'll see how it's executed on Sunday. But could you remember a coach, that the Chargers have had since obviously you've been reporting on the team? Could you remember one being that specific yet subtle at the same time, or was it more of just the vanilla type of answers when it comes to being a better team moving forward?
Yeah, I think that's more of what you get. I mean, Anthony would say, "Hey, it's on me. Like we messed up," and he would say that he would always let it be known that it was on him. But can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Sound beautiful.
Just making sure. Okay. No. Well, Dan, your face kind of like looked puzzled, so I thought that maybe you couldn't hear me. So no. It's not a shot.
My face.
No, I'm being honest. Like I thought he couldn't. I thought that maybe my Wi-Fi was crashing out, so that's why. I'm not trying to take any shots, Jake. From State Farm.
I actually thought he was frozen for a second because he was just in one spot for like.
You're a traitor, aren't you?
A good 10 seconds.
Are you with Allstate?
Am I with Allstate? Absolutely not. I'm State Farm, baby.
Oh, you are State Farm.
Yes.
Dude, that's who you should have dressed up as Halloween. Oh my God, no way.
I'm kidding.
Oh, I was about to say screenshot that one. Dude, you should have one year dress up as Jake from State Farm.
It's just the obvious, right?
Yeah, like you have to do that. Like just go with Jake from State. Get a red sweater and just Jake from State Farm.
Or honestly though, it would be cool just to do the Allstate guy because then everyone would say, "Why didn't you do Jake?"
I've never heard it, but I know that coaches like will be like the cliche, like, "Oh, it's on me." But I don't know if it is on Staley, just because these problems have been around for years. It's not new this year that they can't stop the run. It's been there a couple of years. Sometimes they jump up to 16th, other times they fall back down to 29th. They're just right now they're stuck in that rut where they're the last place team. They're allowing too many rushing yards. But like you said, Jake, I don't think it can get fixed in 1 year. I don't think anything can have that happen. And then the other thing is, like I've said, like you can't have Derwin just playing in the box the whole time and have him tackle, because then in the backfield you're going to get burned at one point. So you need Derwin back there as well. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how Brandon tries to do this. Maybe who knows? Maybe Justin Jones really is that piece that they've been missing, and they start tackling better and guys start kind of cleaning tackles. I think they'll improve a little bit, but with Justin Jones being back for sure, I just don't know how much you can expect from it, especially with some of the other question marks that they have on different places. But with Justin Jones back, Drew Tranquill back, I think it will help the run defense. I just don't know how much it really, like, I don't think it's going to be like, oh, they're going to jump up to 16th by the end of the season, but I think it's going to be a lot better. But I mean, if they really do make the playoffs, I think there's one team you're trying to avoid if you're the Chargers, and that's the Tennessee Titans. Right there, you'd have to put the offensive lineman to be on the defensive line and try and do all that. So it definitely, or you can ask Rick. God, what was his name? Rick Moranis? No, Rick. Oh my God, from Little Giants.
Yeah, Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis. Yeah, you'd have to ask him to come and help be your defensive coordinator and call the plays on defense.
Annexations of Puerto Rico's out the
dude.
Ass.
I still remember when the girlfriend comes over and she's like, "Hey, don't you remember that play that he ran in the?" I'm like, how would she know the play that?
Right.
Like, it's just funny. She comes over, she's like, "Remember the play that he ran? Oh, it's gonna go to the right. Everybody shift over to the right." I'm like, come on, get out of here. But it's a great move. I love when he has his wife hold the what's it called? When he has his wife hold the bag or the bed. And he's like, "Count me down, Brooks."
Oh, yeah.
Ready. She's like, "No, honey, don't do it." He's like, "Say hi." He's like, "Ah." Goes through the window.
Both of your recollection of movies is second to none.
Dude,
like, this is impressive.
We're just trying to get you to our level, Dan.
Relationships, who cares? Other people, yeah, right. That's rich. Movies, oh, I'm like Creed Bratton, bro. You get me with names that's rich, faces, whatever.
Movie quotes, nailed it.
Yeah, movie quotes. I'm all about them. I'm all about them.
That's right.
Oh man. Okay,
But,
so
my bad. We've been on this for 35 minutes and I haven't mentioned corn dogs yet. Jake is gonna get disappointed. Corn dogs.
I figured there's no way I was going to let you out of here before referencing that. I just figured if it was going to happen during the show or if at least at the end of the
naturally.
show. Don't worry.
No,
we're not getting you out of here
before
talking about corn dogs.
Yeah.
We're not getting you out of here before talking about corn dogs. Corn dogs are always a staple of every time that you join the show.
Speaking of costume, real quick. Chargers play the Patriots Halloween. Are you wearing a costume to the game?
Yeah, right. If you're asking me, yeah, right. Are you kidding? I get kicked out so quick. Michael Myers walking into the damn media booth, like.
Wait a minute. Why would you not go as Jackie Moon?
Dude, that would the shorts. I think the shorts.
Yes.
I would get exposed for the shorts. People would be like, "What are you doing?" It's gonna be like the grandpa or from what was that movie with Johnny Knoxville?
Oh, Bad Grandpa.
Bad Grandpa.
Oh no!
Yes,
you're going full circle. You're going full circle with this Ted Lasso thing too. This is great.
Hey, honestly, look, you know what? I should dress. You know who I'm gonna dress up as? Eric Williams. I'm gonna wear a sweater. I'm gonna do the tie, and I'm gonna. I should do that in honor of Eric.
You should.
But that would be funny. But can you imagine, like, if they lost to the Patriots and I sat there in a Michael Myers mask? Like, I feel like I would be the one getting killed.
Oh my lord!
So,
new coaching staff. You've been through a lot of the kind of the eras.
Yeah.
Is this the most hype that you have seen around this Chargers team?
No, that 2006 team, that was a different animal. I mean, you had Lorenzo Neal, you had LT, you knew what you were getting with that defense. I'll tell you one thing, and people can say whatever they want. If Steve Foley doesn't end up injured that offseason, I think the Chargers would have been even better on defense, and they would have been even more lethal because of the way Steve Foley used to play football. So I think if Steve Foley doesn't get – I mean, hell, if Marlon McCree gets down, the Chargers would have been Super Bowl champions that year.
Don't do this.
For sure. But when it comes to hype – I mean, and you have to remember, Phillip didn't throw the ball that much that year. They really were a ground and pound because you had Lorenzo Neal, because you had the offensive line that you had. And I really do think that I think that this Charger, like, I feel like there's hype from the fans, but there's a little bit of, like, you couldn't question that 2006 team. This team you question because of some of the stuff that they had, like the run game, you need a little bit more from the more receivers. There's no number 2 back. The Chargers had Michael Turner at that time as their number 2 back, and Michael Turner was literally, obviously LT is LT, but you wouldn't see a huge drop-off between LT's production and Michael Turner. Here, there's a huge drop. Like, you're, like, literally in the Grand Canyon, like, on top of the Grand Canyon when you're with Austin Eckler, and when he comes out, you're at, like, the damn bottom of the – you're down there visiting Hades, basically, when he comes out. And it's kind of like, it feels like I keep on wanting to call him Fred Jackson. Fred Jackson was an old Buffalo Bills running back that had a lot of game. Justin Jackson at times just feels like he doesn't fit this offensive system. Like, it feels like he runs the football, he goes backwards. He catches the football, he kind of slips and slides. Joshua Kelly, I feel like he's been a little bit more positive. I feel like they should use him a little bit more. I would try the combination, honestly, of Larry Roundtree, Joshua Kelly, and Austin Eckler. See what that does. The last 2 games you've tried not the last 2 games. The last game you tried Justin Jackson, Joshua Kelly, and Austin Eckler, and neither 3 of those backs gave you anything. So I would try a rotation. I was one of the ones that was kind of asking, like, oh, would Marlon Mack add anything? And I kind of looked to see if Marlon Mack would add anything to this team. You never know, but they need more help from the running back situation. I mean, Austin Eckler, it's not like Austin's out here saying, I want to be the all-purpose down back. I want to be the one that takes 25 carries a game. No, he's saying, let's share time, but let's make sure that the production fits the sharing of the time. And it just hasn't to this point. So there should be some concern when it comes to the Chargers on that aspect. But there's hype, but it just you need, like, I feel like there's more that this team needs. Like, it's not as set as that Chargers team was in 06. I just remember that team was just completely stacked. And I mean, okay, take out the 06 and probably the 09 was the 07 was the other hype team that you're just like, oh crap, like this team is stacked. Even like this team is still stacked, but there is reasons to be hyped. But I still feel like the Chargers are a year away from being that true Super Bowl contending team that they can be for the next few years. And I know it kind of hurts Charger fans, but I just realistically think that they're a year away from really being where they want to be, because next year they're going to have a lot of cap space, and you have to re-sign Mike Williams. You have to go get yourself a right tackle. You have to go get yourself a right guard. Unless Braden Hamas is your right guard, then okay. But you need, like, you're almost there. That left side of the offensive line is very good. Now go get that right side. Go solidify it for Herbert. They're doing a good job this year. It's not as bad as it was last year, but there's little mistakes, little things that happen that you're kind of like, okay, you need more of an umph. I think they need another cornerback for sure. I think there's just a lot of pieces missing. I mean, you guys are going to call me a nitpicker, but there's just a lot of stuff here and there that they need a little bit more of to kind of. So they need more defensive line depth. They need more. They need more pass rushing for sure. So it's just little things here that they need, but they're not as bad as they were a couple of years ago. I think they're starting to build this, and with Staley at the helm of this, I think they're going to be able to build a pretty good future because he knows talent. I mean, look at John Johnson. John Johnson got paid being in this system with Brandon Staley. Leonard Floyd got paid being in this defensive system with Staley. So there's guys that are getting paid. So definitely, I think that there is a cause for optimism. But the most hyped team, I'd probably say that 06, 07, and 09 teams were pretty hyped, and this team is up there. But it's just, I feel like those teams were a lot. They were a lot more defined in what you knew exactly what you were getting. I still have a lot of question marks about this team when it comes to certain areas.
But I will say the fact that the Chargers have more hype now than the last decade, I think says all you need to know about where this.
No. This is probably their best chance since Tom Telesco's been here. This is probably their best chance to win the division that they've had in his whole time. He hasn't won the division as a general manager at all. So this is probably his best shot and the team's best shot at winning the division this season. Because I'll tell you one thing. I mean, yeah, the Chiefs are going to have some financial difficulties, but they're going to be back. I mean, I don't think they're going to completely go away.
No.
And Denver seems gung-ho about getting a quarterback, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of the teams that gets Deshaun Watson out of this whole thing. Like, if they came out away with Deshaun Watson, they wouldn't be good this year, but next year they're going to be a lot better, especially with those receiving weapons that they have. That secondary is really good. So there's a lot of, and then obviously the Raiders are 5-2. They're good. They have a good team. So, and Rich Bisaccia, I've always been told that Rich Bisaccia is one of those guys that if given a chance, he can motivate a team to do whatever they need to. And you're seeing it right now with the Raiders. The Raiders are 5-2 for a reason. I mean, I know everybody wanted to write them off as soon as the Chargers beat them and the Gruden stuff happened. But there is a little bit of I think the Raiders are really showing you what they got. And Rich Bisaccia, he was the Chargers special teams coach for 2 years. And in those 2 years, they had the best special teams they've had in the last decade. So he was really good. He goes to Dallas, and now he's going to he's been with the Raiders ever since, and he's a good coach that's gonna get them to do a lot of really good things. So there's this AFC West. Pretty soon it could be loaded. You could see Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, and Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers or something like that in this division, and the division would be a freaking Clint Eastwood movie every single year. So it definitely is. Exactly. It definitely is going to get a little bit crazy, but for sure, I still think that the Chargers have a little bit of ways to go, but I do like the direction that they're headed in. I think they're doing some really good things, but it's just getting some of the guys that maybe aren't fitting your system well, maybe getting them out of the system and maybe making them into a lesser role than what they're in, if you catch my drift. But there's some guys that aren't fitting and they're still getting a lot of playing time. So I just think that there's some things that need to change before these guys can be contenders. Man, that Luis Castillo, Igor Oshansky, Jamal Williams, that defensive line was nuts. And then you had Sean Merriman, Sean Phillips. I don't know. I just remember that defensive line was just like they would swallow guys up. Like I remember Jay Cutler would always throw a fit because one of those guys was always all over him. And I don't know. The weakest part about that Chargers team was their secondary, their cornerbacks. Their safeties weren't bad, but it was their cornerbacks that were the bad part. Jammer was all right, but then
Jammer, I liked him.
Sammy Davis, some of those guys were just not good. But every team is always going to have a weakness. Can you overcome that weakness? And that's kind of what the Chargers need to do. They've overcome it so far. They're 4-2, so they've overcome running the football. But now, can they do it in the latter part of this? I think they have the fourth easiest schedule heading into this backstretch. So they're going to have to really put it together and beat these teams. Cincy, man, that team is no joke. I think. Oh, by the way, I got a prediction for you guys. I think that game's going to be a Sunday night game. Cincy Chargers. It's San Francisco against Seattle right now. I think the Chargers and Cincy is going to be a Sunday night game.
Flexed.
Yeah, I really do think that they're going to try and milk the. I think by that time.
Well, yeah, I mean the Herbert Burrow would be.
Yeah, they're going to be similar in records, and I feel like they're both going to be on their path to the playoffs. So I feel like they're going to play against each other and on Sunday Night Football, and NBC is going to get a hell of a game.
Let's put on your prediction hat for a second there, Fernando, for these next two questions, because I know what is actually your. Because I know you always say it every Sunday morning before the Chargers go on. What is your current record in predicting the Chargers' wins and losses so far this year?
I am 4-2, my friend.
Hey, there you go. So that's
and
very
people were crapping all over. Can I say something? People were crapping on me because I predicted the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Chargers. Fans were literally go into those comments of that post, and I was like, dude, what is wrong with you people? Like, I didn't say that they were gonna like. Well, I didn't think that what was going to happen or what happened was going to happen. But, man, people were being mean. I was like, dude, I'm not, doing anything wrong. I just said that they're going to be you're going to be 3-3 this weekend, loser or whatever. And I was like, okay, dude, chill. Take it easy there. And obviously.
Everyone needs a hug.
Honestly, when the Chargers lost, I was about to retweet that and say, and you guys were saying, but then I was like, no, never mind. That's way too. That's
and he did that, and Fernando took that personally.
No. And I mean, honestly, I would never do that just because, that little devil stands on your other shoulder while the angel's telling you, don't tweet that out.
Don't
more people
send.
need to have an angel talking to them. I listen more to the angel than I do the devil. So there you go. And religious people are going to come after me. I'm sorry, I'm religious. I'm not trying to invoke anything. I just say that I try and be a good person. There you go.
Attaboy. Well, yeah, let's put on your prediction hat again for a second. So, as you had said, if the Chargers got through their first 6 games with a 3-3 record, they would be in good shape. They've done one better. Now they're 4-2. So, now looking at the remaining half of their schedule, as you mentioned, 4th easiest schedule remaining, I have 3 games earmarked here that they could potentially lose. I know that everybody's going to be like, why are you even looking at it like that? So,
Kansas City, Cincinnati, and I think that last Raiders game is the game that you're going to say.
I have the Patriots because I definitely think that that's a formula that they could lose again. I do have Cincy, yes, because I think that that's going to be a hell of a game, especially with Cincy's front four.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I know it may not seem like it on paper right now, especially with the way that they're playing. But the Pittsburgh Steelers have always played the Chargers tough. And to me, if nothing gets improved in the run game, I feel like it just means that's
remember those years where Pittsburgh was really good? The Chargers would always play them hard. Denario Alexander going off on them those years. There's times where they just play each other hard. But I think it's the Chargers' turn to kind of get them back just because of remember the whole Renegade playing in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
So I think this might be the one with you know which one I have? I have that last Raiders game because I thought by then the Chargers I have Cincy. That Cincy game is going to be hard. I have the Kansas City one, and I have that last Raider game. But I thought to myself, because the Raiders have a tough schedule, I think they have the 5th hardest schedule heading into this back end. So I thought if the Chargers maybe have control of the AFC West by that game, they might just rest everybody and go into.
So you're saying 3 losses. So you're giving the Chargers what, 11-5?
No, it's 11-6 now.
Sorry, 11-6.
So no,
12-5.
12-5. So before the season, I had said they would be 11-6. So I may say I'll stick to my pick. I'll say 11-6, and probably winning the division. I just don't see Kansas. People keep on saying, "Oh, Kansas City's going to rebound." I'm like, how? Like, how can you rebound from this? Like, it's tough. It's just not going to happen like on a snap of a finger. Like, it's tough. What?
Wait. All right. So you're counting the Chiefs out. You're saying they're
no. I didn't say that. I'm just saying I just don't. When you say you're going to snap out of something, I don't think the Chiefs can do. Their problems are more than what people think they are.
Do the Chiefs make the playoffs?
Give it a percent chance rather than a direct yes or no answer.
I'll go with ESPN, 40%.
40%.
ESPN said 40%. I wouldn't be surprised if they missed it, though. Like, I'm not going to be like everybody else, like, oh, the world's burning down. Like, what's going on? The Chiefs just missed the play. I wouldn't be surprised. They have a lot of problems. Their problems are more than what people realize that they are. They could potentially. They still have the Cowboys, the Green Bay Packers, the Chargers, the Raiders twice. Can you imagine if they lost all 5 of those games? They'd be out of it. They're literally 2 games away from being out of it. They're 2 more losses out of it or 2 more losses away from potentially being out of it, the way the AFC is kind of stacking up right now. So if they lose 2 more games with having that schedule, they could be out of it. Like, because the Dallas Cowboys are just going to run the football and they get Michael Gallup back. They're gonna be really good. Green Bay, is Green Bay, and then having to play some of these other guys. Oh, now he's just an emoji. He's left. He's like, oh my. But yeah, I think I'll stick with my original prediction, and I'll say that the Chargers will be 11-6 by the time this is all said, and I think they do win the division.
Now, you've touched on this already a lot, so I was going to get into asking about potential trade targets, trade deadlines on November 2nd. I know you've touched on a lot of potential players. That the Chargers
but it's just been like it's kind of been joking around because I just don't like.
It's no different than what anybody's thinking. Now I'll just make it simple. Do the Chargers make a move by November 2nd, regardless of position?
I'll say no, just because with Tom Telesco's history, he's never like. Today I got an alert saying that 3 years ago the Chargers traded Dontrell Inman to the Chicago Bears. And I'm like, oh wow, there you go. It's not in his history. I mean, when's the trade like this upcoming Tuesday, right?
Upcoming Tuesday,
not tomorrow, but the week after.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Unless they lose to the Patriots and there's something notable where they're like, dude, we just got this is a glaring need, then maybe. But I'll put it at like a 15% chance that they make a trade. It's just not in their. It's not in their wheelhouse, and it would have to be somebody with an expiring contract. Also, but I mean, you have to look at it from their point of view too.
Why would it have to be somebody in expiring contract though? Like they got the cap space.
Yeah, but Tom likes the cap space to be what it is moving forward. So he's gonna want something like he's gonna want to keep his cap space for next year. You have to remember too. I mean, to his credit, you have Mike Williams, you have Derwin James up pretty soon. So those are the 2 guys that they're gonna want to try and keep. And they're gonna. Well, I mean, Derwin, you still have his 5th-year option, but I'm pretty sure the Chargers are gonna try and. I'm sure Tom was gonna try and take care of him. The way he took care of Keenan, I mean, I remember a lot of people were like, why are you giving Keenan this extension the first time? Like, he's injury prone. No, we trust our guy. We're going to give him this contract extension. I'm sure they're going to try and do the same thing with Derwin and kind of secure him up. Secure Derwin, secure Mike Williams, and kind of keep those guys ready to go. And then you have extra cap to fix because if you release Brian Bulaga, you get $10 million back. So they're going to potentially have about $85 million under the cap. They can do some things, but I just don't. I don't think just because we haven't seen Tom do it, I just don't see him getting a guy who has a contract who doesn't expire. Like I'm telling you, like for me, I'd love to see Allen Robinson on this team just because his contract expires. He can go somewhere else next year. But I think it'd be fun to watch Keenan, him, and Mike just run all over the field. Like it would be crazy to see them. And why not? Like you've never done it. You've never gone out and done a move like that. Like the last time you traded for somebody relevant in a sense.
Chris Chambers.
Damn you.
Yes.
Damn you. Let me. Just like Jackie Moon. When he doesn't
coming up next.
I agree with what both of those guys said. Both of them. First we will vote, then we will fight. So I definitely I haven't seen it done. That's why, Dan, I can't say, oh, they would get somebody with a contract because it hasn't been in their wheelhouse. Like Jake said, Chris Chambers was the last guy that you got, and he really made a difference for that Chargers receiving group that year when he came in. I think he was here for 2 years, and he did a great job with this team. So I'm interested to see kind of what Tom's going to do, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just didn't make a move at all for this weekend, or if they didn't make a move for this trade deadline. But if they did, then kudos to them. I tip my hat off because they do need some stuff, and I feel like there's players out there who are available who could make a difference. The only guy I wouldn't go get is Deshaun Watson because I think they're all right at that quarterback position. But other than that,
right.
I think everything's on the table, to be honest.
Final question, Fernando, to wrap it up. Is it too
God,
early?
Best Buy.
Is it too early to ask you for your game prediction, or do we have to wait until Sunday morning for that?
No, he'll give it to us.
No, I need to see how the rest of the week is like. And you know what? I can't even trust the New England Patriots. Like their questionable, their injury report. Thank you. I can't even trust their injury report because I remember last year they listed 17 guys as questionable, and all 17 played.
Yeah,
so,
it's never really accurate.
Exactly. So no, I need to know if Justin's gonna play. Justin Jones. Don't freak out, people. Justin Jones. If Justin Jones plays and Drew Tranquill, that bye week that Baltimore Ravens game did a lot to my psyche, I think. And I may be leaning your way, Jake. The way you kind of talked about it right now about how that's a game that you could potentially see them dropping. I'll give you that. I'm with you in that sense, just because I need to see how these guys are going to respond after a bye week. Like Andy Reid, we all know after a bye week, Andy Reid's teams come out and they kick ass. Is that what's going to happen here? I don't know. So this game is going to tell me a lot about this team on Sunday, but I'm really interested to see how the Chargers come out. Are they going to come out and be that team that beat the Raiders, beat the Cleveland Browns, took it to the Chiefs in Kansas City, or not? So I'm really interested to see kind of how that goes.
All right. Last question for me. This is a fun one before we get to Best Buy.
Wow.
Everyone's talked about all in.
30 minutes.
Excuse me?
They close in 30 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
What did you say? No. Okay. Easy question. Wrap this up. All in. We've seen a few episodes now. Favorite part for you?
Me being on it? No, I'm kidding. No, you know what? I was talking
to this guy right here.
I was talking to one of their producers, and I was like, dude, I thought it was awesome how in that Derwin episode they had me kind of like do the play-by-play on Derwin when Derwin gets that sack. Like I was like, oh, you saw a guy move off the edge, and you're like, oh, is that Melvin Ingram? No, it was Derwin, and I was like, oh, that's actually pretty sick the way you guys did that. And then he tells me, bro, your like recollection to know like certain plays is incredible. We could like when we were cutting that up, we were like, whoa, like this guy really knows what happened around that time. I'm like, well, yeah, I've been around the team since 2013, so I kind of remember some of these things. So I still remember Jake. I think, well, I don't know if you remember this, Dan, but I know Jake will. They were playing the Kansas City Chiefs. It was Chase Daniel as the starting quarterback. When Eric Weddle jumps over the pile on 4th down, he didn't even tell Mike McCoy that he was faking. It was in overtime. Yeah, it was in 2013. If they won, they were going to the playoffs. I remember Eric Weddle fakes the punt without even telling Mike McCoy. He jumps over the pile and he gets it, but it looked like he had fumbled and they returned it back for a touchdown. Then obviously they called it down by contact. But like I remember, I have stupid recollection like that. Like I remember plays like that made me laugh because I remember after the game, Mike's like, "Yeah, he didn't tell me that he had done it." So it just dumb stuff like that. But that's been my favorite part. I think All In is a good show, though. It shows you a little bit more about kind of like how the team is, how they get along with Staley, how Staley's kind of showing the blueprint. Obviously, they're not going to give you everything, but I think it shows a little bit some cool stuff that maybe fans don't get to see. And honestly, sometimes we don't get to see that kind of stuff. So it's honestly been something fun. But yeah, my favorite part is me being on it. And I'd love to petition to be on it a little bit more because I think I have fun with it. So who's going to wrap me up? Who you guys are fighting in the comments about who's going to wrap me up. Wrap me up. You know what? I'll wrap myself. This has been Fernando Ramirez from jumping on with Chargers Unleashed. For Dan Wolkenstein, Jake Hefner, I'm Fernando Ramirez. Good night and Godspeed.
God, you couldn't have done it any better than
All right,
that.
we're done.
In reality.
You know where I'm getting it from, right? Have you ever seen Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Trevor Collins?
Yeah,
Hillary's boyfriend.
That was beautiful. Or you should do it like I forget the guy's the play-by-play announcer from Semi-Pro where he says it's like we'll remind you there will be another day.
And he's like, I will remind you that there will be another day. Actually, no, this is our last broadcast.
Oh. Fades out to black. He's like,
hey, can you put your cigarette? Lou, can I ask you to put out your cigarette? No, I like to smoke when I drink. Live on the broadcast. They should honestly let like Al Michaels and all these guys drink. I think
just take a drag all day.
Wait, Marshawn Lynch, I don't know if you guys heard, but he actually he drank Hennessy before he jumped on with Peyton and Eli. So
I didn't hear that. I heard his comments. I did not know
said he
that
took 3 shots before he jumped on with them. I think that's what he said. So I was like, he's like, I took a shot for each of you.
Oh my God.
Good for him.
He's one of the Manning family. That's great.
Oh my God.
Well, Fernando Ramirez.
I think Peyton was wearing Eli's Ole Miss jersey. So it was even funnier to see that.
Well, Fernando Ramirez, as it is evidently clear from the way that this podcast has gone and as it has been every other time that you've been on with us, it's nothing but fun times with you. We always enjoy you coming on and being part of the show. I definitely hope that your new Turbo Man is somewhat of a good luck charm when it comes to the Chargers moving forward. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that, and we'll definitely be referencing that in the future. What is that? Oh, why has that not been exposed more often? Why is that always sitting too far behind you? That should be more prominent in the show.
I got it all.
Oh man, you're having your own little
my altar to myself.
You just gotta
bring candles. I like candles, and I praise myself at night. I'm like, dude, you just keep on walking it. Keep on being you.
Next thing we're going to know, there's going to be like some clay statue molded of Fernando that's going to be sitting next to the Turbo Man.
Honestly, I asked the Charger, I'm like, yo, like, since I've been like the leading like media person here, I've been here for years, can you guys just make a statue of me in the media center and just be like, this is the Fernando Ramirez Media Center? And they started laughing and they called me. Well,
laughing, they kicked me out.
I was like, I was waiting for a kick out or whatever, but no, they're great people. They're awesome. But yeah, no, I definitely put myself in situations. I got 30 minutes to make it a Best Buy. You guys are awesome. I think you guys don't want me to go spend money, and I need to go spend money.
We're trying to save your bank account, but if you want to spend it, you go do your thing.
I need a screen protector for this thing. Oh wow, I have a lot of text messages. I'm a popular guy. Look at that.
Getting the Schefter treatment needs to go to Best Buy. There's priority things on his list.
We got
Fernando has been gracious enough,
and I still have to go get dinner.
Out of his
so there you go.
To come on Chargers Unleashed. But anyway,
thank you guys for having me. It's always fun, like you said, jumping on with you guys. It's always you guys are
oh, this outro is so good.
What?
This outro is so good. Hey, keep it rolling.
You guys should have just cut it when I said good night and Godspeed.
We're probably going to.
No, don't. This is awesome. But I appreciate you guys. It's awesome seeing that you guys are doing some cool stuff. So definitely keep it up and never change. And Jake, you go get some corn dogs.
Corn dogs, Jackie. Corn dogs.
That old movie. Who has $10,000? The sponsor will pay him. Oh, it's not real.
It's not real.
Can you make me a smaller
I'm gonna let you guys go. You guys can continue this on. Have fun, all right?
Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Oh wow, he really did leave.
He really did leave. Wow, take a look at
Wow.
that. That's a first on the show.
Jake, appreciate you guys having me on. That was awesome.
Thank you, Fernando. Really appreciate
Have a
it,
good
buddy.
one, man.
All right,
Talk
man.
to you
You
later.
too.